What is going on?
My mum coming in on the recording again.
Again, oh, for fuck's sake.
Well, we've got our clip for the intro now.
Bloody hell.
Roll the jingle. Guys, can you imagine if festivals got cancelled for 2 summers in a row?
Oh.
And welcome to episode 3 of the RAGAMUFFIN Music Podcast. If you're new here, it's like a book club but for music. And I'm Alex.
I'm James.
And I'm Dan.
We'll start with talking about if we listen to each other's recommendations from last episode. James, what did you listen to?
I listened to Polaris, The Death of Me, that Dan brought up last month. I believe we've seen them before. I want to say we've seen them before somewhere.
They supported architects at Wembley.
That's right. And I think I found that when we go to the gigs, if it's like a secondary band that I've not heard of, it's just some enjoyable background music if I've not spent time delving into it as much. But then going into this album and actually taking some time to listen to it, I'm kind of like very much invested in listening to more of it. I find it just solid metal. Masochist is probably my favourite off there. There's a nice switch in the vocals, nice choruses. The intro to Vagabond has got some beautiful riffs as well. No, I was really pleasantly surprised, and I think since then I've had other songs of theirs pop up when I've just had shuffle on, and it's kind of like album recommendations. I think The Remedy of Me might be something that popped up, and I heard that and I've put that instantly into liked. So no, I'm getting a bit more hooked on Polaris, so that's definitely got me a new band to listen to there. So thanks, Dan.
Happy days.
Dan is really just the go-to for recommendations, because I listened to Sleep Token from you guys talking about it last episode.
What do you think of it?
I loved it. The like mix of chill, there's like these really chill, beautiful songs, and then just like crushing heaviness, but like doesn't ever feel jarring. It all works, and it was just brilliant. And I like it when bands have their own like mythology and like lore.
And their own aesthetic.
It was like their own aesthetic, yeah. But it was like when we were all getting into Tala and learning about like the album's concept and learning about it. I feel like the same with Sleep Token now. I need to like dig into kind of the like mythology that they've created. But I loved it.
They certainly seem to have like an aura around them.
Yeah, definitely. So everybody say thanks to Dan in the comments for just recommending great albums.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you, Dan.
For pretty much all of my music recommendations that you've given me.
You can't see it, but I'm just giving an approving nod, as if to say, "You're welcome, my children."
Right, should we talk about some news?
I hope it's good.
Well, brace yourself, because it's really not. Glastonbury 2021 and Coachella in the US have both been cancelled. I mean, is anyone surprised, really?
No, this is not boding well. Any kind of hope I had for this summer and just seeing these getting announced and dropped off is drastically falling, and it is making me very sad.
I mean, there's a small glimmer of hope and positive thoughts in the fact that it takes like 2 months to build the site for Glastonbury. So obviously they actually have to start building it pretty soon, considering it's near the start of June, I think. But I've now had my hope diminished because we've got some breaking news today. Hellfest in France is cancelled.
Oh damn! I didn't hear about that.
Which is towards the end of June.
Ah shit!
It's 2 weeks after download.
Yeah, I'm starting to feel like this summer is probably just going to end up being a write-off.
Again.
Yeah, I think it's looking the same as last year now.
I think Slam Dunk are they're floating the idea of pushing it back.
Yeah, I mean, they postponed it last year, didn't they, from May to September, and then obviously it still couldn't happen. So I think that's the one to look at, I think. That's the one that might have the small chance of going ahead.
I think download is definitely a write-off then.
Yeah, I think so, sadly.
Damn.
Heartbreak.
I don't really hold out much hope for anything, though, even Slam Dunk. Like, at this point now, it's just a bonus if it happens.
My only anticipation for anything that we've got booked at the minute is somehow in some way Bring Me happens, even if it's delayed like 2 months at the end of the year in December, because I don't even see that happening in September. But in terms of anything that's booked, that's the only thing I have any kind of glistening of thinking that it could happen.
Yeah. I mean, as far as the UK goes, I just can't see them approving anything without every like adult in the country being fully vaccinated.
The thing is, though, looking at the estimations, it looks like every adult in the UK will be vaccinated by autumn.
Well, with that, I've thought about it before. If they're going to have, with gigs being reopened, if you have to have proof of your vaccinations, so I can say I had a message come through the other day, and I've had my first one, and I then have to have. I think it's mid-May is my date of when I have to have had the second one by. But they were saying when I was there that it could be and will most likely be a lot sooner, and that they're ahead of it. I have to say, when I went and had it, it was very well run. So if they keep going at the pace they are, maybe something with that gets included, and that we could be on track for maybe something at the end of the year, possibly. But it just depends.
I'm staying quite confident we'll be at some kind of gig before the end of the year.
I like that optimism.
Probably not a festival, but
No,
No.
perhaps a small gig.
I will cling on to
Something
that
at least.
optimism with dear life.
In other news, the ballot for the 2021 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame has been announced. The full list will be on the screen, but I'll just run off a few names for you guys because I just want to get your instant reactions to some of them. We've got the Foo Fighters, and this is their first year of being eligible.
Okay, good.
Absolutely keen for that one.
Yep.
Iron Maiden,
Yeah, I'm happy
Yeah,
with that.
that's fine. No arguments with that.
Rage Against the Machine,
Yeah, again.
Again,
Yeah, that's fine.
Jay-Z,
Okay.
I can allow that.
Kate Bush,
I don't know. That's a bit okay. Interesting. All right, next.
Tina Turner.
Oh, 100%. 100%. I am fully for that.
Thing is, I know that you're saying that to be sarcastic, but I want to give you guys a fact right now that is absolutely baller. Tina Turner has sold more concert tickets than any other solo artist in the world.
What in total ever?
Yeah, she's like the record holder for the most concert tickets sold by a solo artist.
That's actually incredible. To be fair,
I would never have
Yeah.
thought that. If that was just like a pub quiz question, she would not be a name that would come to
I
mind.
mean, you look at like all the videos and stuff of Michael Jackson just trying to leave his hotel room and things like that, or standing on his
Yeah.
hotel balcony. He's got like 50,000 people just stood outside just to catch a glimpse of him. And Tina Turner's sold more tickets than him.
Yeah,
That's impressive. That's very impressive.
that is mad, isn't it?
And therefore, I'll allow her on the list.
Yeah, let her in. And lastly, this is shit news. The Marilyn Manson allegations. His ex-fiancée, Evan Rachel Wood, shared her account of abuse that she suffered during their relationship. I won't go into any of the details because I don't want to upset any listeners, but following her statement, 10 other women shared their experiences. Manson's former personal assistant said he was witness to some of these allegations. He's been dropped from his label and his manager of 25 years. And it's just, it's good that the industry is kind of severing their ties with him.
Yeah,
I think.
it's sad for them that it's happened so late, and it's good that it's finally something's being done about it. And just kind of feel sorry for all the years of abuse and shit a lot of these people had to go through for it, but at least it's out now.
Yeah.
I've seen the odd allegation over the years come out about him, but obviously there's never been enough to really convict him or do anything about it. But I think with the amount of people coming forward now, there's no way of avoiding it, and there's no way it's false.
No,
in
it's
my opinion.
undeniable right now with that. Yeah.
Yeah. And we just commend the bravery of all the women that came forward.
Not for sure.
Absolutely.
And hopefully there is some sort of justice served. Right, first up, let's talk about Medicine at Midnight by Foo Fighters. Who wants to kick it off?
I think Dan, he is our main Foo Fighters guy here.
I'm a pretty big Foo Fighters fan. They were I think they were the first proper gig that I went to, Milton Keynes Bowl, back in 2011. And yeah, they've got a new album out, and I commend them on this album for trying something different. Basically, they've been around a long time. They've been a band longer than I've been alive, and it's quite easy to just sort of stay set in their ways. They've got all their big arena-filling bangers out there, Everlong, Best of You, all those. They don't really need to do anything new. They could literally just never make a new album again and just continue to sell out stadiums and headline festivals. But they've released a new album and they've tried something different on it. They've tried to sort of modernise their sound a bit. Shame, Shame, I think, is a standout of being completely different to anything they've ever released before. And in my opinion, although it's not great as a whole album, there's some new songs on there that are pretty good. The opening track is probably my favourite. Making a Fire, I think it was called.
Yeah.
And yeah, as I say, I commend them for just trying to be different and not just not doing anything, basically.
No, I like that. And again, with that first song, it was a really nice intro. I love the 6/8 kind of feel to it. Just not your regular time signature. And it came out of the blue and it wasn't expected, and like just kind of threw me off a little bit, which I really liked. I think the tempo of the album kind of went up and down at points. Like you say, I don't think it's a great album from start to finish, and that there are those select songs that you can really pick out. Like No Son of Mine had some really fun riffs, I found, some good drum parts, and like Heavy Fuse is definitely something I can enjoy for sure. And then I think like Holding Poison and Chasing Birds stood out for me, but like this is the first time I've had a Foo Fighters album that I've listened to from start to finish. And I think it was a much more enjoyable experience than I was probably anticipating, which I don't want to come across as negative, but they've always been a band that throughout the years I've always heard like the select songs, the big ones, the Monkey Wrencher, Learn to Fly, a Pretender, that you always hear on the radio or on like music TV channels, and you kind of, everyone is familiar with those, and it's like there's the unwritten rule of being a fan of like Foo Fighters, Chili's, kind of like your standard bands. But having that from start to finish and taking that experience in was something very different, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it too. I felt like it was structured quite weirdly though, like because the first song kind of has a good tempo and a good amount of energy to it, and I kind of wanted to keep that going, and then to go into Shame Shame just felt like took some of the air out of it for me. Do you know what I mean?
It did slow it down after a very upbeat start, but again, it's different.
Yeah, the whole album had a feel of like they know that they can just pretty much just do what they want and like just try whatever they want, and like some of it worked. Like there's the title track Medicine at Midnight has like this funk feel to it, and then you follow that with like the opening riff of No Son of Mine, which just like kicks you in the face. And I love like when bands do things like that where it's so obvious that they're just having fun.
To expand on you saying they're just having fun, just before we started recording, I found that they've done a Bee Gees cover for the BBC Radio.
What song?
So I can't remember what song it was, but yeah, that just shows that they're just doing what they want to do, just having a laugh.
But they're at a time in their career now where they can do that. They don't need to do anything to like get more notoriety or necessarily please an audience as much. They can do what they want to do, and they have that musical freedom.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, you know, it offers a couple of songs that they could add to their set.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
Okay, today, the day of recording, Nothing Nowhere's new album Trauma Factory came out. It's his fourth full-length release. I really enjoyed this album. I think if you're a fan of like his sad emo rap songs, there's like enough on here to please you. But it was like the upbeat, fuller band songs that were the ones that stood out more to me. Especially like Buck, Death and Blood. Those are like my favourite ones. What do you guys think?
Well, again, this is someone who I've not listened to before, and I know both of you have been probably thinking a little bit about what I'm going to say about this.
I'm nervous. James.
I much prefer the second half of the album. When it gets into that more kind of full band feel, that to me just appeals instantly. I thought there's a few good songs. I thought Love and Chemistry had a really nice up-tempo feel in the verse sections. Fake Friend was the first song that kind of really pulled me in as a listener. Because as soon as that kind of chorus comes in and the song feels like it starts to open up a bit more, and the nice dip in the verse, it's got like a nice journey you're going through on it. Death had a lovely switch up, because a lot of time you hear like programmed hi-hats, I think, in this kind of like music. So nice to hear like the simulated ride sim with like accents on the bell. Again, I'm always going to come from a drummer perspective, and that to me was just really intriguing. And then the guitars just dropping in and getting a bit heavier, that's always going to appeal. Barely Bleeding was a nice strong end to the album. Loved the intro in Pretend, really nice good guitar accompaniment. And I think it was not... I was going to the first half of the album and being like, okay, this isn't really getting me, I'm not really enjoying anything out of this. And as it came to the end, I got a much more positive reaction out of it. So I think, I don't know if that's going to surprise both of you, but no, I pleasantly enjoyed it. And if it's someone at a festival, I would not go to an era front probably, but I'd stand at the back and appreciate and nod my head while drinking probably.
We converted him, Dan.
He liked it.
It's interesting that you say that about the festival, because me and Dan saw him at Download, and like,
Where was I? Where was I when you saw him?
I think you were holding your spot for Slipknot.
Oh, I was probably being tortured by Deantwood.
So you were probably enjoying Deantwood at that point.
But like the mood that he gives off, like, just wrapped up everyone in the tent. Like, you just get sucked into it when you see him live. So it's cool that you say that you think you would enjoy it live.
Yeah, it was very different. And again, like I said, the second half of the album was a lot more appealing. Once you kind of got to more of a full band and the musicality of kind of more instruments than just kind of programmed instruments, I guess, that was a lot more appealing.
Sure. Dan, what did you think?
I agree with what James says there, and I have an analogy to summarise my thoughts.
Oh yes, let's go.
Regular listeners of the podcast might remember that I compared Seaway to a cheese sandwich. Well, I'm going to take you on a journey here. Close your eyes, if you will. Picture yourself in a restaurant, maybe one of your favourite restaurants. You notice they've got a new item on their menu, and it's a burger. You get excited, you order the burger, and then you notice it's on its way. You get very excited, you see it coming to the table, you know that feeling. It's now on the table. You grab the bun and you noticed it's a soggy bun.
Oh no.
Oh no. Oh no.
We all know that a lightly toasted bun would be much more enjoyable here. So you take a few bites and eventually you endure the soggy bun and get through to a nice juicy patty in the middle. But at this point you've just given up on the burger and you've moved on to the fries. Which you've had before at this restaurant. You know the fries are good. They've got familiarity. You've had them before. But what's this got to do with the Nothing Nowhere album Trauma Factory, I hear you ask? I hear you ask.
What's this got to do with the Nothing Nowhere album?
Well, the nice introduction track with the sort of guitar in the background, the anecdotal story over the top. That's getting you excited. That's the bit when your food's on its way. You can see it come to the table. But then
I get that as well.
The next track, Lights, just kind of ruins it. That's the soggy bun here.
There's the soggy bun.
There's your soggy bun. See, I think it'd be much better with a song like Blood, which is later in the album, something a bit more energetic, because you've been built up by this intro, and then it sort of just comes to nothing. And then, a bit like James, I felt that the first half of the album was a little underwhelming. There's not really anything that kind of interested me anyway until Pain Place.
It's a soggy bun, Dan.
It's a soggy bun. And then you've got the bits like the gherkin and stuff that you might just take out. Doesn't really serve much of a purpose in there, for me anyway. And yeah, by the time you've got down to Pain Place, you've kind of just moved on to the fries. And the reason you're familiar with the fries is because a lot of those songs had already been released as singles.
Oh, I like that.
Particularly Nightmare, which came out over a year ago.
Wow.
Unreal.
I closed my eyes. I followed that journey.
That's why Trauma Factory is like a burger with a soggy bun.
I love the journey. And it fits perfectly.
James, did you have your eyes closed during
I
that?
have
'Cause
my eyes
did.
closed. What a wonderful journey you took me on, and I can relate 100%.
Follow the Bird Box on Instagram for more stupid shit like that.
And now we're all going to take a quick break to go and get some food because we're hungry now.
I literally did have a burger for dinner, by the way, because I spent most
So
of the
did we.
day
Yeah, so did we. So did we.
Oh man.
Right. Well, we also got a new album from Love and Death, which is the side project of Korn guitarist Head. This album's called Perfectly Preserved, and it rips. Well, what do we think about it, boys?
Well, for starters, the Bieber cover took me by surprise.
Yep. That really did. I enjoyed it. As an album in general, it's been 8 years since they've released anything, and like they've kept the old sound for anyone that heard them before. But I think they've shown like a lot of growth where they've expanded more towards the end of the album cycle. Last time I think they released a bonus track called Empty, which had the guitarist JR do a lot more vocals, and then they've kind of got much more of a dynamic between them on this album of switching up between Head and JR, with all the simple kind of familiar heavy riffs which work for them so well. I find Tragedy really good as a good start to the album, just a classic Love and Death song, some strong heavy riffs. The breakdown at the end is glorious where it just slows down as it progresses, and it would just be a wonderful pit experience. Again, like Dan said, Let Me Love You, the DJ Snake and Justin Bieber cover really shows off JR's vocals in particular. They've got some nice like production things in there, like the stutter. Like Something's Wrong with the Mix at the start of Slow Fire was just something that caught you off guard. And I remember sitting with Alex the first time he heard it and instantly being like, oh, what's that? That's different. And then songs like The Hunter, I think is possibly my favourite song on the album. Some beautiful catchy vocals, some really nice songwriting, such a nice chorus. And then finally, one standout song for me still is Lo Lamento. They released it as a single on its own in 2016, which they then re-recorded for the album with some nice nuances that I found on the drum part in particular. And overall, I found a nice sophomore album from them, renewed my interest, and hopefully they can kind of stay a bit more active as a band for me, instead of kind of just being Head's side band from Korn. There'd be a lovely addition to like a festival, early afternoon, easy, heavy music. It's not complex, but for me, it just does the job perfectly.
Dan, what do you think?
Yeah, I echo everything James says. I just feel like they don't do anything particularly crazy or groundbreaking in this album, but they just do everything really well. I think everything that they do is done. Everything they do is done very well.
Yeah, I felt that it was quite easy to get into. Like,
Yeah, it's got a very familiar feel to it. Like,
yeah,
it's just a good metalcore album, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
really good. Moving on from that, we've got The Things They Believe by Loathe. This is a year to the day from when they released I Let It In. And it's just kind of an album of soundscapes and atmospheres. It just feels like they're trying to push... To me, it felt like they were trying to push the boundaries of what bands can do and like take a step out of the box that a lot of metal fans put bands in. If that makes sense?
Yeah, I don't get a lot of the negative response they've had because there's not a lot you can criticise, I don't think. There's not a lot you can say about it. It's just like ambient fun and just for enjoying what it is. Like it's something I could probably fall asleep to, and I don't get why they've had so much shit for it, basically.
I think it's just people expecting artists to do what they want them to do rather than what the artist wants to do, basically.
True.
Because I don't think there was any intent. I think album was intended to be a complete surprise. I don't think they were actually wanting to announce it before it came out. I think it was just supposed to appear one day. But I believe someone leaked it on Twitter, so they had to say something. But they never actually said it was going to be a full band album, though, did they? There was no promise of that. But I think it's a really cool idea. Alex mentioned on our last episode how Loathe create kind of this world, and that's kind of just expanded even further with this album, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And like I think people were like, to me the whole point of this thing was that nothing on it stands out. It's supposed to just bleed into like one song from the other and be like a full experience. And then I think people were just disappointed that there wasn't like a proper song.
It's basically like a soundtrack, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it feels more like a film score than like.
Yeah.
And I just think it's good to like, you know, push the boundaries of what people like perceive this band to be. Because like the best things come from when people are, you know, outside of comfort zones and things like that. Um,
Well, you've got to innovate. You've got to innovate nowadays and do something different. There's so many bands that just sound pretty much the same, and so many there, and that you I'm trying to think of how to phrase this. There's so many bands sort of fighting for attention, and doing something like this is something that will make you stand out from the crowd.
Definitely, definitely.
Because I felt the same when listening to their album, like having those interlude songs made it feel like one whole concept rather than what a lot of bands do, which is just like a collection of songs.
I've always found that when you have albums that have those interlude songs on, it feels much more of a journey, and less of just like here's song one, here's song two. Like they flow through naturally, and it's like you. It's I find it enjoyable listening to an album sometimes from start to finish and hearing that flow through. And I feel like bands do think about how they structure their albums and what song's going to place where on an album. So to kind of appreciate it from them thinking about it, something like this where it just flows nicely all the way through. I like it.
Well, we got some singles to talk about as well. Every Time I Die released AWOL. It's their third song in the past 2 months, and it's everything that makes this band so good. It's just chaos and energy from start to finish, and it's just a killer song. What did you guys think of it?
But every time I die, I've still never, but not properly, given them a good listen. I vowed that I would when we saw them sing While She Sleeps, because I'd seen their name around a lot. And they supported While She Sleeps, and I described them at the time as having spicy riffs and intense breakdowns. And I stand by that after listening to these new singles that they've put out. The breakdowns just make you want to crowd kill your nan. And when this album drops, I'm definitely going to be listening to it.
Yeah, for sure.
I pretty much echo that completely. Ever since we saw them, I've like, yeah, one of those bands that was on the radar that one day I'll listen to them. I'll give them a go a bit more. I like having the song being released first time listening to them. It's straight to the point from the intro. I love like the tom parts in what I kind of think is a second verse, because AWOL doesn't have a regular song structure, which makes it something very interesting and new to me. Like there's no chorus that repeats in particular. It's just verse by verse by verse, and it's just like a different kind of journey on a song because you're not expecting the familiarity of returning. I thought the balance of the instruments in the mix was fantastic. Some really strong vocals, and some lovely dissonant chords at the end section. And yeah, this has got them on my radar a lot more now, and definitely got to start listening to them.
Trash Boat also released a new single called He's So Good. This is an amazing song. There's like a little collection of bands that kind of all have evolved together from like an old pop punk sound into like something more interesting, like Boston Manor and Trophy Eyes. And Trash Boat are like following suit, and it's incredible. It's got such an anthemic chorus, and I think lyrically it's going to resonate with a lot of people, which is a really good thing. I think hearing it live would feel like quite cathartic for a lot of people that relate to this song. Yeah, and I just love it. What did you guys think?
They've been a band that I think you two have been trying to get me to listen to for so long. And I didn't really have a lot of expectation going into it. I thought it was a solid song. It was very much, I think, vocal orientated as well, like you mentioned with the lyrics. It really shows off, I don't know the lead singer's name, but you two probably will. Toby. It shows off his vocal range really nicely, from like the falsetto and the highs he has to some of the screams that come through. You could hear like the vocals in it heavily reverbed, like feeling in a nice open space, which kind of made me just think of like an empty stadium in a pandemic. So that's just like a nice analogy for me, kind of for where we are now. A nice riff in the bridge. Yeah, I'll check out the album when it's coming out. And again, another band for me to eventually start delving into more of the catalogue when I can catch up on more music.
I was worried when I heard a preview to the track on Twitter before it was released. because I've been a long time Trash Boat fan, nearly since the start, since pretty much their second EP. And I already knew that they were going to be moving away from their original sound, which is fine. I'm all for bands developing. But there wasn't any sign of sort of heavier guitars or sort of the pop punk and almost hardcore influences that you hear in old Trash Boat songs. So I was worried that it was going to be not just a different sound, but a completely different sound, if that makes sense. So I was relieved when I heard the actual song that there's still those riffs there. There's still sort of some semi-breakdowns towards the end. And also this song is incredibly catchy. It's been in my head pretty much since it came out now.
Yeah, it's a big chorus, isn't it?
Oh, it's a huge chorus. And it sends a great message as well. Obviously, there's a bit of a story in the song, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Although that message has been missed by some people, it seems. I saw the vocalist Toby mention that he's had some DMs criticising him for using the word queer in the song, but obviously that's people not actually realising that what the song's actually about. It's not criticising queer people; it's supporting them. Like it's like the context in the song; it's used in quotation.
Yeah, exactly. And last up, While She Sleeps released You're All You Need. Dan, I'll take this to you first.
Yeah, I love this song. I think it goes without saying. I'm going to get in there straight away because it's the talking point that we'll all want to talk about. Does Sean Long realise that he's got to play that lead part at the end live at some point?
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Because it's just mental. I think the other point that I'll bring out from it is Loz's cleans sound amazing compared to, not necessarily compared to how they used to be, but they've come a long way. It's clear that he's been practicing on that.
It definitely felt like, I mean, I love all their albums, but So What felt like the most defined like identity for them. And this just feels like they've taken that identity of So What and like pushed it even further, like beyond what I thought they could do, and it rips. And like what I like that they do lyrically is, when you read it just on its own, it's really, really poetic. But then they phrase it in really interesting ways where like lines will run over like bar lines and run into each other, and like just makes it so much more interesting to listen to.
Yeah, I find with some of the more recent While She Sleeps songs that if you just get the lyrics on a sheet and read them as they are, they don't make a lot of sense. And that's probably because of, like you mentioned, the way that the lines sort of run into each other and things like that. But when you actually hear them in the song, all the pieces sort of come together.
James, what do you think?
Right. So I've prefaced this with the fact that I've done a drum cover of it, which you can view at James_Blanco on Instagram. And so I've been listening to this song incessantly, which Alex can attest to, ever since it's released.
Yes.
Just the whole song. I love it. It's such a nice opening riff that gets stuck in your head. If people are part of the Sleep Society, which I think we're talking about later on, it comes right out of Sean Long's school of riffcraft and wizardry that Matt mentions, and stuff like the like small blast beat section coming in the first verse, a lovely catchy chorus that I find myself just singing at random times during the day. The bridge section dropping back down is a nice twist before coming up with some thumping toms, and then like Dan mentioned, Sean's beautiful leads. Again, just echoing what Alex says, I love the irregular lyric patterns they have. I love the song. I'm extremely excited for the album, and a bold statement I think I'm making off the back of this. I think Sleeps are now my number one band over Slipknot.
Ooh, over Slipknot?
Yeah, it's always been not, and then it was kind of always, for me, Sleep's number 2 and Beartooth 3 as like musicians and music that I can relate to, that I can always find myself going back to. And I think hearing this, again, more of what we're talking about with Sleep Society, but seeing them and their journey as we have like seen them at gigs years and years ago, and then kind of growing up through it all and seeing them get bigger and more noticed, it kind of like speaks to me on a different level. And I think they are my number one band now. They are my the top of the mountain.
Wow.
That's a massive claim as well, by the way, because James loves Slipknot.
I mean, if he
So much,
I mean,
and has done for a very, very long time.
fucking long time. And I think off the back of this and what I'm expecting out of Sleeps, yeah, that it's just number one for me now, I think.
Big statement.
Headline news.
We've got a few releases coming up soon that we're all excited for. 26th of February is a big day. We've got For Those That Wish to Exist by Architects, Of Mice and Men's Timeless EP, and singer-songwriter Julian Baker is releasing her third album, Little Oblivions. And then on the 5th of March, A Day to Remember releasing You're Welcome. Stay tuned for our review of Architects' new album soon after it drops. It's that or this time, boys. So, of course, the theme this month is love.
Ah,
So here's the little scenario I've set up for you guys. If you had to sing one of these songs in public to someone that you love, which one would you rather sing? Okay, are we ready?
Ready.
go on.
All right, first up, I Will Always Love You by Whitney Houston or My Heart Will Go On by Celine Dion.
Oh,
Both
that's a
very
hard
tricky
one.
songs to sing.
they are. I'm not reaching any high notes in either of those. I can guarantee you that.
I'm going to go for Whitney, I think.
I was leaning towards Celine Dion, so there we go. Yeah.
Beautiful. Aerosmith's I Don't Want to Miss a Thing or Bryan Adams' Everything I Do It For You.
Or
Aerosmith,
Aerosmith.
hands down.
Aerosmith. Yeah, for sure. Definitely. I'm belting that one out.
Massive song.
Next up, we've got Bleeding Love by Leona Lewis or Make You Feel My Love by Adele.
I think Bleeding Love is a bit more power behind it. I'll go with that.
You have faith in your lungs, do you, James?
I do, mate, I do.
Yeah, I'm going for Bleeding Love as well, just because it's a little bit more tongue-in-cheek and upbeat.
Nice. And then we've got I Believe in a Thing Called Love by The Darkness or Beyonce's Crazy in Love.
I would absolutely fail at the highs,
And
but
wait,
definitely the darkness.
Let me say this.
Okay.
If one of you picks Crazy in Love, the condition is that I will come up on stage and do Jay-Z's rap part. So that might, if that swings it for you.
That doesn't for me,
so
I'm going to be honest.
I'm definitely not doing Crazy in Love in that case.
Oh, what?
I think, yeah, there we go. Both of us got the darkness.
That's brutal.
You sold it the wrong way.
Also, you can get away with singing The Darkness badly because it's just a laugh.
Yeah, that's true. And now I've got a couple of bonus breakup ones. Adele's Someone Like You or Sinead O'Connor's Nothing Compares to You.
I didn't choose her earlier, so I'm going to go for Adele this time.
I'm going with Nothing Compares to You.
Yeah, good choice, James. All right, and last up we've got Torn by Natalie Imbruglia or No Doubt's Don't Speak.
I'm going to go Torn and I'm going to do the neck deep version.
Is that cheating?
I'm
Yeah,
still
that is
singing the
cheating,
song. I'm still singing the song. It's just a bit more full band.
I'll allow it.
Well, I'll tell you what, I am torn by this decision.
Hey!
Hey.
I'm going to go for Torn. It's a massive tune, isn't it?
Well, there we go. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Now it's time for the feature song. This episode we've got Southern California alt-rock band Against the Sun with their song One More Time. This band blend genres together in a really unique way that I haven't heard in a really long time. What did you guys think of this song?
I really enjoyed it. I love the drums, some nice double bass patterns behind the snare to kind of push the start of it. A little pre-verse instrumental, which was quite fun. Some nice riffs, a catchy chorus, and I really like the key change right towards the end. Gave me some like neck deep Zoltar Speaks kind of vibes, which is a bold move, but it worked well. So I was a fan. I liked it.
Yeah, I agree. The riffs are pretty monstrous in this, and definitely listen to the end for that key change.
But like from this song, I went and listened to more of their stuff, and I encourage everyone else to go and do it because they're great. We love them. So here it is. Welcome to the Sleep Society. But is it worth it? Yes, it is.
Instant answer.
End of discussion.
Sleep Society is a Patreon for the band While She Sleeps. Their goal with this is to create a sustainable future for their band, which is supported by their fans. It provides exclusive content, playthroughs of songs, recording session clips, filmmaking tutorials, design tutorials. Basically, everything that goes into being a band, they're showing how they do it. And the three of us are all members. Am I right in saying we've all been members since the launch?
Yes.
Correct.
And yeah, we've been kind of living with it for a few months, and now's the time to talk about it. So what do we think about it, boys?
I love it. I think it was, as soon as they announced it, it was something that instantly appealed to me. With Sleeps, I don't like to use the word culture for it, but they kind of are, because they have such a united fan base who are different, I think, than any other band that I know of. And I can't think of many other bands who I'd pay this subscription service for straight away, apart from Sleep. So I think that just is a bit of a testament to like how strong the fan base is for them.
I think it's great. Like James said, While She Sleeps have a great community amongst their fan base. It's a great idea that means the band benefit from obviously the income from the subscriptions, but also there's the fans getting something back, and they definitely get their money's worth. I mean, I'm only on the lowest tier, which is like £4, something like that. But I'm still getting all these videos about sort of behind the scenes from the new song, for example. Before that came out, weeks before it came out, there were drum playthroughs, guitar playthroughs, sneak peeks. They were getting us all involved in the promotion of it all. So yeah, it's great. It's great fun.
I said there's so much different content on there, and such a wide variety that gets released. And I think it caters for so many people. Do you guys have like a favourite thing they've released so far, or like type of content they've done?
I mean, I do my own home recording, so like anything they do that's based around recording tips or writing sessions, I soak it all up and I love it. And like things like that are just, I imagine, probably quite easy for them because they're doing it anyway. They've just got to put a camera in the room, and then suddenly, everyone that's a patron for them can take all the lessons that they're teaching, and apply it to their own stuff. And also, what I think has been great is they've created a space where people can share their own creations. I don't know if you guys are really on the Discord server.
No, I'm not.
I'm not.
But
No.
with what both of you said about like community, like there's just so much going on and people connecting about so many different things. You can, share your own music and share your projects. People are planning like meetups for gigs. They're meeting other musicians and starting projects.
That's nice.
While She Sleeps, I've always felt like a band where the fans all have like something in common with each other, like more than any other fan base, I think.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think like you said, Alex, about all While She Sleeps fans already have something in common, and that's sort of a testament of the values that While She Sleeps portray in their music and as a band as well, because those all naturally reflect through a fan base. I've seen an interview. I think it might have been the trailer, in fact, for the Sleep Society, where Matt from the band has said that if he sees someone in a While She Sleeps shirt, he's instantly mates with them and wants to go for a beer and could easily have a chat with them. And I don't think you get that with many other artists at all.
No, not at all. I think there's just, you can see them putting so much thought into it, where the fact they've said they have like Monday meetings about, okay, what are we going to be able to do to put out this week? They're asking for fans' input about what they want to see. So it's not just being like, this is what we're giving you. It's like, what would you like to see out of it? What content interests you? And I know every time they've put anything to do with like drum covers up, anything that Sav's playing, I'm voting straight on that, because I can sit and watch drum playthroughs for songs for days, and there's so little of Sav doing stuff online. And so seeing like his playthroughs popping up, for me, it's fascinating just to watch his little nuances, different ways that he'll hit the drums, and the way he kind of like changes his beats. To me, I find that fascinating. So I think there's so much nice variety. It can hit targets everywhere for it.
And it feels very like reciprocal. Like
But that's a good point. But like with that, the track they've got "Call the Void" on the album, they called for people from the society to send in audio. So you could see on the track listing they put out, they've got Simon Neil from Biffy Clyro and Derek Whibley from Sum 41 as features on the track, and then on "Call the Void" it says featuring the Sleep Society, and it's kind of getting you involved. They have fans coming on the podcast with them. It's not just being subscribe to us, give us monthly money, and you can see our content. They're getting involved with the fans and they're communicating with the fans and interacting, and I think that kind of personal feel with it is what makes it just appeal even more. It's not just a bunch of kind of five strangers. They kind of make it part like a family. And it's much more than just, like I said, a subscription service. It's a culture. I'll say it again. It's a culture.
I think you've got to credit While She Sleeps work ethic towards this as well, because they're posting pretty much every day on there at times. And I've seen Q&As with members from other bands that have been asked if they've considered doing a similar thing, and most of them have said, we've considered it, but we just don't think that we would sort of be able to cope with the pressure of posting regularly on there and sustaining the content to a level where it's worth what people are paying for. Whereas I'd say with the Sleep Society, they're more than you're more than getting your money's worth from it, really.
Oh, they're doing a perfect job, and I'd not seen of any of the bands doing it yet until the other day. Tala have started one. It's one that I'm considering getting. I probably will. Just to see some more behind the scenes pieces from them, any more covers, any kind of things like that, any playthroughs. So you kind of see more of maybe more bands are going to start doing it. I did look earlier and just at under the music category of kind of what else is in there, and it's a lot of it you're getting just beat making, people doing covers, doing playthroughs, ukulele lessons and things like that, and 15th at the top of them are Sleep Society. And they've, ever since they started, they have not dipped under 2,000 patrons. And I think that's a testament to how strong the fan base is, that they're all coming back every month. I signed up for the yearly thing straight away because I just thought, I'm going to enjoy this. So for me, it's fantastic. I love it. Up the Sleep Society.
That point kind of ties into a question that I had, is that do you guys think that this kind of model could be the future of the industry for some independent bands?
It depends on the band, and again, like we've all said, I think it depends on the fan base of the bands. I think we'd all agree that there is something a little bit different about Sleeps compared to a lot of other bands that we listen to, and I think that's what makes it work so well. And I'd like to see more bands try it, and if it is that beneficial for them, fair play and give it a good crack.
I think it's definitely a good thing to do. Obviously, at the moment with COVID and everything, if you're not too familiar with how the music industry works and how bands of this level make their money, it's near enough solely from touring and selling merch at shows. There's near enough next to no money comes from record sales or Spotify streams or anything these days. So this is kind of just an alternative way of keeping bands alive, basically.
And even not just the bands, I think one of the fantastic things they have done is, out of the money that's come through of it, they hired, I think it was 2, possibly 3 people to help behind the scenes with the content. They've been able to get some of the people that helped them out on like tour managing and techs to come back and actually have work. So it's not just giving it a sustainable model for the band, it's giving it for the people surrounding the band, which I think, again, that's even more a testament to how strong the whole community is behind While She Sleeps.
But back to Alex's question, I don't think any band could do this. I think they've got to have already a strong supportive fan base behind them, and they've also got to have the drive and the creativity, I guess, to be able to keep making engaging content. I
guess lastly, I just wanted to ask, is there any particular content you guys would want them to start doing?
I'm quite happy with what they put out. I think there's a lot of variety there, and I think anytime I get a notification come through I will watch it fairly soon because it's something I'm interested by. I'm looking forward to this album being out and seeing more of Sean's Amazing Anxiety series. I just look forward to seeing like his notes on that and what he puts out. He speaks very openly about it, and I think that's something fantastic. But apart from that, more drum shit, please. That's it.
I don't think there's anything more specifically that I'd expect from them. If I'm honest, I don't expect anything really. With While She Sleeps, I'm quite happy to just have my £4 a month go to them, and knowing that it's supporting a great artist, and know that it's going to go into making some music that I'm going to like. Anything else is a bonus, really. Because £4 at the end of the day, I know there's people that aren't in the same financial position that I am, but £4, that's a little bit more than a meal deal. It's like one cup. That's 1 cup of coffee. So you barely notice that go in, really. To get the content they're producing is more than worth it, I think.
And I guess I'll end with this. One t-shirt is equivalent to 5,000 streams on Spotify. So whether it's While She Sleeps or someone else, if you can support your favourite band at a time like this, go pick up some merch. James, have you got an album to recommend the people?
I have. This is a metalcore band from Holland called The Royal. Me and Alex have been to see them live in London before. Still a fairly small band, found them through Instagram. I would recommend their album 7. I feel it's got some nice fun riffs in there. The songs Wild Mind, Counterculture, and then the title song 7 really stand out most of all. It's some fun metalcore. Check it out.
Dan, what do you recommend?
I've talked in some detail about Nothing Nowhere today, so I thought I'd recommend something which draws some similarities. This is a solo artist called Sully. He's from the UK. He used to be in a band called Crooks, who I thought were really, really good back in the day. Recently discovered that he's got this solo emo rap project. He's got an album out called Me and My Absent Mind. It came out about a year ago now. Like I said, there's some similarities to Nothing Nowhere. Pretty much just emo rap vibes over some chill beats. A little bit of piano and guitar thrown in. And I think he's also working on a reworked version of this album as well. So you better go and make sure you listen to the original version before he brings that out.
Nice. I recommend Only Self by Jesus Piece. Because it's hard as fuck and it rips. So go listen to it.
That's good enough.
Yeah, that's all I need to say about it. Well, another happy episode, boys.
Yeah. 3 episodes
A happy
down.
episode.
James, you got anything to plug?
Yes, we've had a bit of a time off from my MMA podcast I've been doing because the friend that I do it with is snowed under with a lot of uni work at the moment, but that shall be returning soon. Apart from that, go check out my drum cover on Instagram. I'm sure Alex will put up my @ on there as well. There'll be probably a link in the description. I don't know. He'll deal with the admin. But go and check me out hitting things in time to music.
Dan, what have you got to plug?
I write a music blog called The Bird Box. It's pretty similar to the stuff we talk about here, only I do it incredibly unprofessionally and write lots of weird things. I'm working on a secret series at the moment, which is going to come out within the next month, I think. So keep an eye out for that. You can find me at _birdbox on Instagram.
I look forward to it.
Cool. And I'm posting music on my YouTube channel soon, so go subscribe to that. I'll put a little clickable link at the top of the screen right now, and you can go and click it, and it'll take you straight to my channel.
Also, if you made it this far through the podcast, go and comment "soggy buns" because that would be really funny for people that haven't made it this far through. If they just see loads of the same comment.
I like that.
Don't forget to like as well, and just hit subscribe. Go on, it's right there. It's right there. Just hit it.
And if you do want your band to be featured at all, there will be an email in the description as well. If you have some music you would like us to play, send it across.
And until next time, bye-bye.
Bye.